Have you ever noticed that birds seem to disappear just before a storm arrives? One moment, the sky is full of activity. Birds are singing, flying and searching for food. Then suddenly everything becomes quiet. The trees seem empty. The air feels different. And not long afterward, dark clouds gather and rain begins to fall. It almost feels as if birds can predict the future. But can they really sense a storm before humans do? The answer is more fascinating than most people realize. Birds do not possess magical powers, yet many species can detect subtle changes in their environment long before people notice anything unusual. Over millions of years of evolution, they have developed extraordinary abilities that help them survive dangerous weather. Today, we're exploring the incredible science behind how birds know when a storm is coming. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe and join us for more amazing stories from the natural world. Let's get started. Imagine standing outside on a warm afternoon. The sun is shining and everything appears normal. To you, there is no sign of bad weather. But to a bird, the atmosphere may already be sending powerful warning signals. One of the most important clues birds detect is a change in air pressure. The atmosphere around us constantly exerts pressure on everything. Before a storm arrives, this pressure often begins to drop. Humans usually cannot sense these changes without specialized instruments, but many birds appear to be extremely sensitive to them. Scientists believe that birds can detect shifts in barometric pressure through specialized sensory systems in their bodies. These pressure changes act like an early warning system, telling birds that unstable weather may be approaching. As soon as they detect falling pressure, many birds alter their behavior. They may stop searching for food, reduce their flying activity, or begin seeking shelter. To us, the weather still looks calm, but to them, the storm has already begun. Researchers have observed numerous bird species reacting to pressure changes hours before severe weather arrives. In some cases, birds even abandon feeding grounds and move to safer locations long before the first raindrop falls. This remarkable sensitivity can mean the difference between life and death. Strong storms bring powerful winds, heavy rain, lightning, and dangerous conditions that make flying difficult. A bird caught in severe weather faces significant risks, so recognizing danger early provides a major survival advantage. But air pressure is only part of the story. Birds also pay close attention to changes in sound. Storm systems produce low-frequency sounds known as infrasound. These sounds travel over enormous distances and are generally too low for human ears to detect. Birds, however, may be able to sense some of these frequencies. Imagine a massive storm forming hundreds of miles away. Long before the clouds become visible, it may already be generating deep atmospheric vibrations. Certain birds can potentially detect these signals and use them as another warning sign that bad weather is approaching. Scientists studying bird behavior have found evidence suggesting that some species respond to distant weather events before those events become visible in their local area. It's almost as if birds are listening to a secret conversation happening across the atmosphere. Another clue comes from wind patterns. Birds spend much of their lives in the air, making them highly sensitive to even minor changes in wind direction and speed. Before storms develop, wind conditions often begin shifting. These subtle movements may be difficult for people to notice, but birds experience them directly during flight. A slight change in airflow can provide valuable information about what is happening far beyond the horizon. Experienced birds learn to recognize these patterns throughout their lives. Just as sailors learn to read the sea, birds learn to read the sky. And sometimes they respond quickly. You may notice birds suddenly gathering in protected areas, hiding within dense vegetation, or returning to their nests earlier than usual. These behaviors are not random. They are survival strategies developed over countless generations. Perhaps one of the most fascinating examples involves migratory birds. Many migratory species travel thousands of miles each year. During these journeys, they encounter countless weather systems. To survive such epic migrations, birds must become experts at detecting atmospheric changes. Research has shown that some migratory birds can adjust their routes, delay departures, or alter flight altitudes in response to approaching storms. In other words, they are constantly monitoring environmental information while traveling across entire continents. This ability helps them avoid dangerous weather and conserve precious energy. But storms do not only affect birds in the sky. Ground-dwelling birds also display unusual behavior before bad weather arrives. Farmers and nature observers have reported these patterns for centuries. Chickens may return to shelter earlier than normal. Wild birds may feed more aggressively before rain. Some species become unusually quiet, while others disappear from open areas altogether. These observations have been repeated so often throughout history that many people began using bird behavior as a natural weather forecast. Long before modern meteorology existed, communities often relied on animals to help predict changing conditions. And surprisingly, those observations were not entirely wrong. Birds truly are responding to environmental signals that humans often overlook. Another reason birds prepare for storms is food availability. Heavy rain and strong winds can make finding food much more difficult. Insects may disappear. Seeds become harder to locate. Flying becomes more energy-intensive. As a result, many birds increase their feeding activity before storms arrive. If you've ever noticed birds suddenly becoming very active around feeders before bad weather, you may have witnessed this behavior firsthand. They're essentially preparing for difficult conditions ahead. Think of it as nature's version of stocking up before a long journey. What's even more remarkable is that different species respond in different ways. Large birds may seek sheltered perches. Small songbirds often hide within thick bushes or dense tree canopies. Waterbirds may move toward protected shorelines. Each species has evolved strategies suited to its unique lifestyle and habitat. Yet, despite their differences, they all share the same goal: survival. Of course, birds are not perfect weather forecasters. They cannot predict every storm with complete accuracy. Sometimes weather conditions change rapidly. Sometimes signals are misleading. But overall, their ability to detect environmental changes is extraordinary. What appears to us as instinct is actually the result of millions of years of evolutionary adaptation. Birds that successfully avoided dangerous weather were more likely to survive and pass on their genes. Generation after generation, these abilities became refined. The result is a collection of natural warning systems that continue to amaze scientists today. So the next time you notice birds suddenly becoming quiet, disappearing from the sky, or rushing toward shelter, take a moment to pay attention. They may be sensing something you cannot. Long before weather apps, satellites, and radar systems existed, birds were already reading the atmosphere. They were listening to distant storms, feeling shifts in pressure, sensing changing winds, and responding to signals hidden all around them. Their world is filled with information that most humans never notice, and perhaps that is one of the greatest lessons nature can teach us. Sometimes the signs are there long before the storm arrives. We simply need to know where to look. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more fascinating stories from the natural world. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next adventure.